Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're demystifying a piece of tech that is literally changing the entire landscape of automation, and that's the OpenClaw AI agent. If you've been hearing whispers online about autonomous agents taking over routine workflows, well, you're in the right place. Our goal today is to break down exactly what OpenClaw is, how it functions, and most importantly, how you can deploy it securely on a virtual private server so it can work for you 24/7.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the momentum behind this project is just staggering. In just weeks after its launch in early 2026, OpenClaw skyrocketed to 68,000 GitHub stars. I mean, that makes it one of the fastest-growing open-source repositories in GitHub history. It clearly struck a nerve. People are hungry for AI that doesn't just, talk to you, but actually does the heavy lifting.
So here's our roadmap for today. 1. The OpenClaw AI revolution. 2. Real-world AI automation. 3. Why you need a VPS. 4. Your 10-step setup guide. And finally, 5. Securing your AI agent.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the OpenClaw AI revolution.
So what exactly is OpenClaw? Created by PSPDF Kit founder Peter Steinberger, it's a free, MIT-licensed, local-first autonomous AI agent. Think about traditional chatbots for a second. You ask a question, you get an answer, and boom, the interaction stops. OpenClaw totally flips that script. It acts autonomously. It can execute shell commands, read your files, manage your calendar, send emails, and it does all of this triggered directly through the messaging apps you're already using, like WhatsApp or Telegram. It bridges that massive gap between raw AI models and your actual daily tasks.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the autonomous heartbeat scheduling. OpenClaw basically runs a background daemon that wakes up at configurable intervals to execute tasks without you ever having to prompt it. It's like having an assistant who just knows when to check the mail. It's also incredibly private. Because of its local-first architecture, all your memory and conversations are stored as simple, plain text Markdown and YAML files right on your machine. Combine that with browser control for filling out web forms, plus over 50 third-party integrations from smart home hardware all the way to productivity suites, and you've got a remarkably capable digital assistant on your hands.
Moving right along to Section 2, Real-World AI Automation.
The applications here scale beautifully from your personal life right into your professional workflows. For personal productivity, imagine an agent that proactively checks your calendar and your favorite news sources and then drops a perfectly personalized morning briefing right into your chat app before you even wake up. Or, say you message a family group chat saying, "Hey, we need milk." OpenClaw can actually parse that and automatically add it to your grocery list. On the business side, content marketers are already using it for enterprise SEO monitoring, tracking keyword rankings, and auto-generating weekly optimization reports. It can even aggregate competitor news from trade publications and deliver synthesized updates completely on schedule.
And for the highly technical crowds out there, the benefits are just as robust. In DevOps, developers are setting up OpenClaw to parse application logs for anomalies. It can automatically generate root cause hypotheses and send alerts to the team before a minor incident escalates into a full-blown outage. Point it at your codebase and it'll automatically generate comprehensive API documentation. Meanwhile, researchers are building local-first pipelines. By hooking up a local AI model like Llama, you can extract and process data from the web entirely offline. That means 100% data privacy with absolutely zero reliance on cloud APIs.
Which brings us to Section 3, why you need a VPS.
Now you might be wondering, why not just run this on my laptop? Well, to get the true benefit of an autonomous agent, it needs to be awake. If it lives on your laptop, it goes to sleep the second you close the lid, which, let's be honest, isn't very helpful for a tireless 24/7 assistant. Hosting OpenClaw on a virtual private server, or a VPS, guarantees that always-on availability. It also gives you enhanced security by isolating the agent away from your personal sensitive files. A dedicated server means better performance, your AI isn't suddenly competing with your web browser for RAM, and it allows you to securely message your agent remotely from anywhere in the world.
And this brilliantly illustrates the recommended infrastructure. Voxfor specializes in managed VPS setups, and OpenClaw needs a minimum of 2 vCPU cores and 2 gigs of RAM. The real sweet spot for most users is going to be VPS 2 or VPS 3. You're looking at around $50 to $55 a month for really solid performance. Voxfor is particularly interesting here because they use fast AMD EPYC processors and NVMe storage. Plus, they offer these unique lifetime VPS plans, starting around a $250 one-time payment. To put that into perspective, that's essentially the cost of a couple of nice dinners to completely eliminate recurring hosting fees for a digital assistant that literally never sleeps.
All right, Section 4, your 10-step setup guide. The deployment process is surprisingly highly automated. Once you deploy your Voxfor VPS and connect securely via SSH, a quick update gets your server prepped. From there, running the official OpenClaw installer is practically magic. It auto-detects your operating system and grabs all the prerequisites, like Node.js and Git, without you having to micromanage it. Now, listen closely here. When the text interface prompts you for Gateway Off, you hit Enter to generate a token. Stop right there and save that token securely. I cannot stress this enough. It is the absolute only key to your dashboard, and you literally cannot retrieve it later if you lose it.
Next, we actually bring the agent to life. Think of it like giving it a brain by adding your preferred API key, whether that's OpenAI, Claude, or a local Llama model. Then, you give it a mouth by linking it up to Telegram or WhatsApp. To make sure it never sleeps, you'll configure a systemd service, so if your server ever reboots, OpenClaw just starts right back up automatically. For safety, OpenClaw binds locally, so you'll just create a quick SSH tunnel from your computer to access its really slick web UI. And if you want, you can optionally set up a domain and SSL for public browser access down the line.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5, securing your AI agent.
You are giving an autonomous system access to your server, so we absolutely have to lock the doors. This is screenshot worthy. Keep this checklist handy. First, swap your default SSH port away from 22 to dodge those lazy automated bot attacks. Create a non-root sudo user for your daily operations and completely ditch passwords in favor of SSH keys. Crucially, and this is a big one, keep OpenClaw bound to the loopback address on port 18789. Never, ever expose it naked to the public internet without proper proxy authentication. Finally, when you start adding community skills, scrutinize those permissions carefully to avoid any malicious prompt injections.
And that brings us to the end of our setup journey. You now have the complete blueprint to deploy one of the most powerful open-source AI tools available today. By leveraging a reliable VPS, keeping your data local first, and strictly securing your endpoints, you're unlocking just a massive amount of personal and professional leverage. So, I'll leave you with this final thought today. With your very own autonomous agent deployed, secure, and waiting for its first instructions, what workflow are you going to automate first? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy automating.